Test one, two, test one, two. Hello. This is not at all how I thought I would be starting this podcast on my channel. I don't know if this will even become a podcast. This might be a one-off thing. But today is November 6th, 2024. The day after a certain event happened in the US of A, where I currently reside. And, well, it kind of feels like nothing matters anymore, so fuck it. I'm just gonna do this thing, and for whomever is listening to this, at whatever point you're listening to this, welcome to a stream of consciousness, a rant, me wallowing in misery, me finding hope. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make any cuts to this audio. I don't know if I'm going to just leave it as a long stream. It may be ass because I'm lying down on my bed holding my mic. But I just feel like I need an outlet to talk. And while I have people in my life that I could talk to, I know that we're all sort of feeling the same, and I don't really necessarily want to get back into that sort of feedback loop of shock and disappointment and just general hopelessness. I hope that if you're here and you're listening to this, you find some comfort, whether it's comfort in knowing that there is at least one other person out there who shares your frustrations, or comfort in knowing that at this point, just do whatever the hell you want. Just live your life to the best of your capabilities. I have been thinking about moving out of state for the last probably about a year, actually. I currently live in Central Texas. I've lived here for the past 3 years. And this year has been difficult for a lot of reasons, and it's really made me want to move closer to my family, closer to a place that feels more aligned with who I am and who I want to be, and things like that. I am also so tired of dealing with the year-round allergies in the South. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I have a sinus infection right now. My ear will not drain. It is so annoying. I just don't want to be living like this anymore. And then with this whole election, I don't know. I just kind of feel like I don't know what I feel like. I feel like all the efforts that I've put into my personal life, my political life, have gone to waste. I have left, not by my choice. Okay, I'll explain this. I was in a very, very toxic work situation for the majority of this year, and I was let go in September. Not for anything that I did specifically. It was for budget reasons. At least that's what I was told. And it was a blessing in disguise, right? Because I really hated what this job had become. When I started this job, I loved it, but it it really snowballed into something miserable this year especially. And to be let go was kind of a joy, but it didn't feel good, you know? Even though I know I didn't do anything wrong, it felt like I had. And then experiencing other personal losses, like right after that, and then dealing with health issues, and then this whole thing happening, it just feels like... It just feels like there's no hope. Right? And I'm just one person. And what I've experienced may not even tip the scale of what others have experienced. And if you have experienced a lot this year, I am so, so sorry. I am so sorry for whatever tragedy, grief, loss, complications you have faced this year. I don't feel like I've been happy since like maybe 2019. And I kind of wonder if anybody else feels the same. For context, I'm 28. I turned 24 during the pandemic. I still very much feel like I'm 24. But I'm also realizing that I'm almost 30. And I don't feel like I have my life together. And often, I don't feel like I have a life worth living. Which isn't true, because I have a lot of beautiful things in my life. But also, I'm not at all where I thought I would be. And that's been really hard to kind of reconcile with. Maybe you feel the same. I think a lot of people in my generation are struggling with this. I know that a lot of my friends are struggling with that, and not that that makes me happy, but it is kind of nice to know that it's not just like a singular problem. It's not just a personal problem. But then the question is, what do, right? Like, okay, we're all collectively feeling this way. We're all collectively realizing that the life that was promised to us is just not panning out. What do? Do you hunker down and just keep going and keep marching forward, hoping that one day everything will resolve itself? Or do you just say fuck it and do whatever you want and live with those consequences? I have some personal debt, right? My finances are not in a good place. And as much as I want to be frugal with money, I'm also like, well, money isn't real. Money isn't real, and I might as well just, I mean, I'm already in debt, right? I should just sink myself into more debt. No, actually, don't do that. That's ill-advised advice. But it does feel like that sometimes, It kind of feels like if I'm already going down this hill, I might as well enjoy the ride. I think the other thing that I'm struggling with, given everything that's happened, is my faith. So I grew up in a Christian household, as a lot of us do, but I got a little extra because my parents are ministers. And to their credit, I never really felt like religion was super forced upon me. Like, there were definitely expectations, being part of the pastor's family, but in terms of, like, I don't know, like feeling like I was forced into the religion. I never really felt that way. And so being Christian has always been a part of my identity. And it's very, very hard for me right now to feel that way. It's hard for me to feel like I'm a Christian. I'm still a very spiritual person. Like, I believe that there is something out there. I believe that there are powers beyond our control. I believe in the ebb and flow of positive and negative energy, and I believe that, you know, good always triumphs evil. But it's hard right now to feel those things and to feel confident in those things with the added ideology of Christianity. Because to be frank, I'm pissed at God right now. I'm pissed at him for the events that have happened to me this year. I'm pissed at him for the outcome of this election, and there are others in the Christian camp who would wholeheartedly disagree with me and say that this is a godsend, right? But I don't know. I believe in a loving and accepting God, and I just don't feel like if that's the God that I know, that certain people who have been elected would have made it this far, right? So I'm becoming disillusioned with this idea of the God that I thought I knew. And there's this whole thing about, you know, God's plan is not your plan, and he knows the big picture and you don't, and I do believe that. And I have been delivered, you know, in different situations. I absolutely believe that. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in a lot of those things. But always with the understanding of a loving and righteous God. And maybe I've just become too beaten down by this year, but I don't feel particularly loved. There's a lot of people right now who don't feel particularly loved. I mean, you think about what's going on in the Middle East and the genocide happening there, and like, you know, how do you still look to faith with all that's going on? And that's very scary, because I feel like I'm losing a part of my identity. I don't really know what it's like to fully operate without that safety net. And this is not me saying that I'm abandoning Christianity or my belief in it. But it is me really taking a step back and sort of analyzing, I guess, a lot of deep-rooted sort of coping mechanisms associated with Christianity that just don't really seem to be giving me any sort of peace at the moment. You know, God puts us through hard things sometimes to bring us closer to Him, and I agree with that. But I also feel like I'm so far away. I'm so far away from feeling his presence. And I hope that whoever is listening to this, whether you believe in a higher power, God, or not, that you maybe find some solace in it. You're not alone in feeling like everything seems to be falling apart and there doesn't seem to be any real recourse for it. You know, I envy atheists. I envy the ability to move through life not feeling like you need to rely on something beyond you to make sense of it. I don't know if I'm strong enough to do that. I'm a chronically anxious person, and being able to pray or to speak positive affirmations or, any of that kind of stuff is sort of a band-aid solution to a lot of my anxiety. In those moments where I am highly stressed, saying a prayer does calm me down. But then we get to moments like this, where it's like, I don't know, it's just so hard to feel like everything is right when everything feels so wrong. At least to me, at least to, I know, a lot of other people. There are those who are out there, jumping for joy in the streets, and sure, okay, yeah, I guess. But I'm scared. I'm a female presenting person. I live in a red state. It's scary. I'm currently unemployed. I'm receiving benefits from the government because of it. I am on a healthcare plan through the Affordable Care Act because I, as a single person, cannot afford to pay $700 a month for a shitty healthcare plan. I have chronic health issues. I have a pre-existing condition, technically. I'm queer, all the things that seem to be always under attack in this country. My hope in all of this is that we actually see more civic engagement, especially from young people, especially from young women. The presidential election is important, but getting involved at the local level is extremely important. And I say that with absolute certainty because I used to work for local government. And I've been in contact with grassroots organizations, and I've seen the power and the impact that they can have. But I get that we're all tired. I'm super tired. Sometimes I wonder if I'll just collapse. And not just in a physical sense, but mentally too. It's a lot of burden to bear. It's a lot of trauma, this sort of political whiplash that this country is going through. Part of me really wants to leave. Part of me thinks that, this country is a little too big for its britches, I guess. I think people forget that the US is a relatively young country. Like, comparatively to a lot of countries in the world, the US is quite young. And we're very big. And I don't know if that's a good combination. But then, and maybe this is just blind patriotism, I also think that this country is so beautiful and there are so many wonderful things about it that to just flee or become apathetic feels wrong. I can understand becoming apathetic to protect oneself. And I think apathy at certain points is totally acceptable, right? Because that's creating boundaries where you just say, nope, I will not tolerate this. I will not, give my energy to this. But I worry that apathy would become too widespread. Now more than ever, it's so important to be educated about the policies being discussed and reviewed and put forward, and talk to your local representatives and make noise. Say something. Voice your opinion and voice it in a clear and concise way. I know a lot of us feel like our votes didn't matter in this election. I certainly felt like that. But they did. They always will. Anyway. I hope that you listening right now, wherever you are, whoever you are, you know that there's one other person out there who feels like you. There's one other person out there who is maybe going through a lot of similar situations as you. And that, I don't know. We'll just keep on keeping on, right? Treat yourself kindly. Be gentle with yourself. I'm not always good about that. Make a plan. I know that's sort of a weird sort of no, not weird, but like not always the best coping mechanism with anxiety, right? Because anxiety wants to have total control, and if you make a plan, that's like you trying to implement control and all that kind of stuff. But I think what I'm trying to say, something that my mom has told me, is you make a plan and you make peace with that plan not working out, right? Like, if your rights are being threatened, make a plan. Are you going to leave your state? Is there a community organization that can help you? You know, what are your options? Make a plan for your safety. Hopefully, you never have to use that plan, but make one just for yourself. And we'll get through this. Okay, that's all I have to say. Take care of yourselves. Welcome to whatever this is. Be kind to yourself, to one another. Enjoy your Christmas. Okay, bye.